In this video, I want to talk about grouping and how it can help you when working with artwork that has multiple pieces. On our artboard, notice that we have 4 squares. Press V on the keyboard to switch to your selection tool, just in case you have another tool selected. Select the 2 left squares by holding down Shift to click on each one. Shift allows you to select more than one item. Go to your menu bar up top. Choose Object, Group. Now click on the artboard to deselect your objects. Now click just one of those squares on the left. Because they are grouped together, selecting one will select the other. If I move one, I move the other. If I scale one, it scales the other. They are grouped together and are thus treated as one. To ungroup, select the grouped item, go to your menu bar up top, choose Object, Ungroup. Deselect by clicking on the artboard. Now select one of the squares on the left. Notice how only one object is selected. Let's go ahead and group each of our shapes here into separate groups. With your selection tool, V on the keyboard, click and drag a marquee around all your squares. Go to your menu bar up top, choose Object, Group, or Ctrl-G on the keyboard. Next, draw a marquee to select your circles. However, instead of going around the set of circles, draw a marquee so it touches each one. This is to show you the different ways drawing a marquee can be used to select items. Whatever the marquee line touches, it will select. Once your circles are selected, go to your menu bar up top, choose Object, Group, or Ctrl-G on the keyboard. Finally, select one of the triangles. Go to your menu bar up top, but this time choose Select, Same, then Shape. Notice how it selected all the triangles. Pretty cool. Press Ctrl-G on the keyboard to group these items. So you now have 3 different groups of shapes. Hold down Shift and select each group till all 3 groups are selected. Press Ctrl-G to group all 3 into one group. All 3 groups will now be treated as one. But what if you need to change a shape inside of a group? To get to individual shapes in a group, you have to double-click the group to dig to the item you want. So double-click the overall group to get into the isolated view of that group. Notice in this first layer of the group, we're back to 3 individual sets of groups. If I want to rotate a single square in the square group, I need to double-click that group to dig deeper to the shape I want. Inside here, I now have access to all the individual items of that specific group. I can then double-click the shape I want to manipulate and do so. To back out of the group, I can use the breadcrumbs up top to slowly work my way back up through the group layers, or press Escape on the keyboard to return to my main artboard, or just double-click the artboard. Now notice if I select one of the shapes, we still have a group shape. I can still select a single shape in my group by using the Direct Select tool, or by pressing A on the keyboard. Notice, however, when I select a shape, I don't get the transform handles. In order to manipulate it, I would need to use the transformation tools hidden behind the Rotate tool in my toolbar. Press V on the keyboard. Go ahead and select your overall group if it isn't already. In order to ungroup our objects, we have to make sure that our object is selected. In your menu bar up top, choose Object, Ungroup. Notice how it only ungrouped back into the 3 individual groups. That's because this group was made of 3 individual groups. To ungroup the group of squares, select the square group and select Object, Ungroup. Now you can work with the individual shapes. As with anything else in Illustrator, the more you practice with it, the more you will learn how and when to group and ungroup objects in your designs.